Hey guys, what's up? Today we'll be working on the layout that we've created on the last episode. I start off by adding a brand new way of public transport, which is cable cars. They will be connecting to the top of the mountain that separates this district from the tech district. I then zone everything up, placing commercial directly on the avenues, and I then use a combination of low density and high density residential. I pipe everything down and provide some power as well, and then let the first buildings develop. I then provide all the necessary services, so elementary and high schools, a medical clinic, fire station and also police station. I also upgrade some of the roads to make the area much more pretty. Main avenues are converted with avenues with trees, and main neighborhood roads where you wouldn't want cars to park in are converted to roads with trees as well. I also connect this new neighborhood to the tech district with the avenue, in addition to the highway connection that we already have. This map has a big mountain right next to the river, which is perfect to place an observatorium. This observatorium will have regular road access, a road that starts on the top of the mountain and will circle all the way down and connect to the layout itself, and it would also be accessed by cable cars with a much more direct connection. So I shape the terrain all around the location, so that the cable car pillars are placed in a way that's somewhat realistic, and I also smooth out the terrain in the areas where I want the road to go. Then I just extend the main avenue of the layout to the other side of the highway and connect directly with this new road. I proceed to work a little bit on leisure by creating a park on our neighborhood. This will be a city park with plazas and coffee shops where people can come in and enjoy. This new custom park is not enough to provide leisure to the entire district, so I place some other standard parks. In the block where I've placed my high school, I create an artificial park with a lot of pathways. These are going to be useful to provide additional walking options, particularly to the cable car stop that we have on the roundabout. I then move on to decorate the entire thing with some trees. In this area I introduce a new type of tree, which is this pink cherry tree that I used to place alongside the pathways of the main park, which I think ends up giving it a unique look. I go through the entire neighborhood, planting trees as I go, and I try to use different types of combinations, just like you would see in a real city. This district was having some trash collecting problems, so I had 2 recycling centers nearby. I also add an additional highway connection for more travel options. For public transport, I create two bus lines that cover the entire district and connect directly to the cable car stop that we have at the center of the layout. Here, the bus lines are acting as local transit routes, and the cable cars are acting as the regional transit options. Cable cars don't have a lot of capacity, carrying 30 people at once, but they are extremely frequent, showing up every couple of seconds in game time. It's also going to be the most adequate option to transport people to the two mountains that are on either side of the layout. I move on by further decorating this area with trees, especially right next to the highway. Placing trees between the highway and the residential areas will dissipate noise pollution, reducing the amount of health problems you have. I create a dirt pathway or a trail that goes alongside the river that can be used by the people as a scenic route. It will probably not be used in game, but the idea is here. I expand the trail all the way to the Observatorium, and technically people would be able to hike the entire mountain on foot all the way to the top. Again, and unfortunately, people will probably not use this dirt road, because they have faster and more efficient ways to get to the top of the mountain, such as the cable cars, for example. Alright guys, so here we have a general overview of what we've built so far. We have a very nice balance between high density and also low density housing, and a good mix of condensed blocks and also lush and green areas where people can come and enjoy, with a lot of organic parks. Let's take a closer look at accesses, so we can see that traffic is pretty much flowing nicely in this location. I have replaced the central roundabout that we had built on the previous episode with just a normal junction. I just think it looks nicer this way. And I've also built an additional connection to this side of the map. So here we have an additional highway connection. And I did this because this junction over here was getting way too much activity. So the way it is right now, it's perfectly balanced. As you have seen on the time-lapse, I also added a secondary connection to the high-tech layout that we had. So I simply extended this avenue and I've connected it to the existing avenue that we had. And I've placed a couple of recycling centers over here to serve this entire area and collect trash from this location. For public transport, we added a new option that we still didn't have in the city, which is cable cars. I decided to go for cable cars because this neighborhood is built on a valley between two big mountains, and cable cars can easily bypass the elevation, something that would be much more complicated by using roads. So for example, here you can see that we have our cable car stop, and we have a very direct connection that cuts through the entire neighborhood, and when it gets at about this highway, it connects directly to the top of this mountain, which provides access to the Observatorium on the edge of the map, which, as you can see, is a much more direct and shorter connection than, for example, this wavy road that I've also built during the time-lapse that provides access by car. On the other side, we have the same logic, so the cable car cuts through the city, through the junction. Oh, and by the way, I'll have this space blank here because I don't know what I'm going to place here, perhaps a unique building. But for the cable car, it cuts through the park that we had, and it provides a direct access to the top of this little mountain here, making travel between the summit of the mountain and the neighborhood at the valley very easy. At the moment, we don't have a lot of passengers in our cable car, so as you can see, we only have 10 tourists and 2 residents using it. But as I expand the network and I extend the cable car line all the way until the high-tech district, we can expect to see a lot more people using it. Despite having a very low capacity, with each cable car carrying only 30 people, as I've said during the time-lapse, there's a cable car popping up every 2 seconds at the cable car stop, making it what is probably the most frequent public transport option of the game. For leisure, I built this custom city park that is characterized by having all of these pink trees, which the game simply calls flower trees, but I like to think of them as the cherry grove trees that you can see in Japan, for example. I also used a big variety of trees to decorate this region, placing palm trees right next to the avenues, for example, some darker, small trees right next to the pathways, and then some regular oaks and also alders on empty, grassy spots. Then I have this big dirt road, this big trail, that goes around the entire layout and provides access to the Observatorium. As I've said, I don't really expect people to use this dirt road, so this is mostly decorative, and I don't also think there's a point of creating a park just for it. This is mostly just aesthetic and to look good. It goes around following the coast of the river, goes under the main highway that we have providing access to this layout. Then at one point it even provides access to the beach, and then it climbs up the entire mountain all the way until the Observatorium, so this is kind of like a mountain trail. During the nighttime, this place also looks amazing, with a lot of different lights and textures and shapes. By the way, I also think there's been a while since I've showed you a global view of the city during the nighttime, so here you have it. But anyway guys, that's going to be it for today. I hope you have enjoyed this video and I hope to see you again on the next one. Take care and as always, have fun.